unafraid of the future, surrounded by love.
Proud, proud of who we are.
When did the journey to republicanism begin?
Barbadians who look like me, our ancestors began this journey as slaves. So let's be very clear. Our history began here with the enslavement of black people. So the first thing we had to do, even to be able to move forward to a country in which people power was expressed, we had to fight against enslavement. So we had to fight for the abolition of slavery. Then we had to fight decade by decade, trying to get additional rights. So we had to fight for the first black man to be able to get into the House of Assembly, Samuel Jackman Prescott. Then we had to fight for the vote. We had to fight for women. In 1943, women finally got the right to vote. 1950, for the first time, one man, one vote. So our whole journey has been one from a total denial of rights for the majority of the people of Barbados, having to claw our way towards a society in which the people have rights and have power, and in which there's a recognition that the country really belongs to the people, and that all official positions of power and authority should come back to the democratic will of the people.
When did we actively begin to pursue republicanism?
There were two constitution review commissions that were set up to look at this issue. So the first one was in 1978. That was set up by the then Prime Minister Tom Adams, and that was the Mencia Cox Commission. So that commission was in place, just 12 years after Barbados had become independent. And that commission carried out consultations with the Barbadian people. But that commission came to the conclusion that Barbados was not yet ready to make that break with the Queen of England being our head of state, right? And for me, that was kind of strange, because the truth is that when we say, the Queen was the head of state and she had this local governor general, let me just refer you to the section in the Constitution, right? It says, "There shall be a governor general of Barbados who shall be appointed by Her Majesty and shall hold office during Her Majesty's pleasure, and who shall be Her Majesty's representative in Barbados." So that's what the Constitution said. But truth be told, it was really the Prime Minister who selected the person to be Governor General. And the convention was that the Prime Minister would select the person, would inform the Queen of England that this is who we have selected to be your representative in Barbados. And the Queen of England, the convention was that she accepted the choice of the Barbados Prime Minister. And truth be told, these Governor Generals did not go running to the Queen of England for any advice. I mean, they used their own intelligence and judgment to carry out their functions. But in spite of that, and in spite of the fact that from day one, from 1966, our Governor Generals have been carrying out their functions perfectly, the Cox Commission still came to the conclusion that Barbados was not yet ready. Fast forward then to 1997, the then Owen Arthur administration, they revisited the issue and they set up the Henry Ford Constitutional Review Commission. And like the Cox Commission, that commission went across the country doing consultations. And after having listened to the Barbadian people, they came to the opposite conclusion. They came to the conclusion that by 1997, 98, after so many years of independence, that the Barbadian people had reached the stage of maturity where they no longer needed or wanted a British monarch to be their head of state. And so the Ford Commission recommended that after hearing the people, that Barbados should remove the Queen from the position of head of state, and Barbados should become a parliamentary republic. That is, that, I mean, we've always been a parliamentary system of government, you know. So we should remain a parliamentary system of government, but instead of having this foreign, hereditary British head of state, we should put one of our own to be head of state. So that was the recommendation. That was supposed to be implemented by the then Owen Arthur administration. Many steps were made by that administration to implement it. They had even brought legislation to Parliament. But I think Mr. Arthur was wavering between moving ahead and implementing the recommendation or holding a referendum on the recommendation. And at one point he was moving ahead, at another point he was holding the referendum. And eventually he lost power without either one being done, either moving ahead or holding the referendum. And then the Democratic Labour Party took over, and Prime Minister Frundell Stewart, in 2015, when we were on the verge of celebrating 50 years as an independent nation, he said that his administration was going to do it, and they were going to do it before or in tandem with the celebration of 50 years of independence. Well, that celebration came and went, and his administration came and went, and it was not done. Then comes Prime Minister Mia Mottley, and she says, look, we have delayed too long with this. There is absolutely no reason why Barbados, an independent country like Barbados that has run its affairs so well, there's absolutely no reason why we need to maintain a foreign, hereditary head of state. And she made the decision that it was long overdue and that she was going to do it. That was announced in the throne speech in September of 2020. Subsequently, this year, the Constitution was amended, the Constitution Amendment Number 2 Bill of 2021. And as you know, based on the amended Constitution, we went through this process of the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition nominating Dame Sandra Mason as their choice to be the first President of Barbados. That choice was then put to the members of the House of Assembly and the Senate, and that choice was given a 2/3 approval by both the Senate and the House of Assembly. So that was the procedure outlined in the Constitution Amendment Act for the selection or election of the first President of Barbados. And the formal installing of President-elect Dame Sandra Mason as President of Barbados will take place on the 30th of November.